Good morning, friends. Welcome to the another edition of Unlock Brand. That's the 19th edition on electronics licensing. We have been doing this webinar for the past 19 weeks, and where we are bringing a top of the top brands to talk about brand licensing. How brand licensing has actually diversified and created an entire dynamics in terms of the retail industry in the Indian market. So we have a very special guest today with us. That's Mr. Avneet Singh, coming from SPPL, that's Super Plastronics Private Limited, who heads and manages the entire segment for SPPL. SPPL is one of the leading pioneers when it comes to television manufacturing industry. They have one of the group licensee for Kodak and Thomson televisions. They have just recently onboarded White Westinghouse also. So we are very happy to welcome Mr. Avneet Singh Marwah today on the webinar. Mr. Marwah, thank you so much for joining us today at this webinar. We are very happy to have you today. Mr. Marwah, to start with, I would like to share a couple of things. How did SPPL started over the journey in the past so many years, and how did it actually came up in terms of creating entire vertical when it came to the television manufacturing and changing the entire consumer industry in the electronics segment?
Morning, Vastu, and morning to everyone. So we started back in about 30 years ago, and we started with plastic moldings for television. Back then it was black and white. Then we started with color televisions, and then we were one of the biggest ODM OEMs in the country for CRT. And that's how the journey began. And I remember our CMD telling us we just started with one shed, one labor, and it was a rented factory. Yeah, so it was back then it was a startup, and that's how we started, and there was no looking back after that. Then we when we were doing OEM ODM, we launched our couple of brands. We had brand licensee back then for Indian brands, and we did really well. Then we started creating a lot of infrastructure across India. Then while developing all this infrastructure across, and LCD just came into the picture. And that time LCD was a luxury sort of a product line, and people used to associate with only with top brands. And back in 15, when we 16 when we launched Kodak, I thought there was a lot of space for a affordable brand in India. We never had a brand which had so much of equity, and along with that, the affordability part was missing, and that started in 4 years back. That started in smartphones. So that I wanted to transform that smartphone affordability, how consumer behavior is in India, and that was transformed very well through Kodak. And after launching Kodak, and we got immense success, and we were one of the first television exclusive online brand that we launched. After that, in 18, again, we thought that, there are more and more brands which are required for online market, as it was a very disruption market. And the best part was with just one single window, you were available in 12,000 pin codes back then. And there was no other platform where we thought that, on one single day, because, all ATL, BTL promotions, if you want to establish offline, it takes decades to establish your brand. So that was one single window with our strategic partner is Flipkart for Thomson. And that's how we had, the journey began for Thomson. And now both the brands are doing fine, and we are about top 2, top 3 online selling brand in the country.
That's really amazing to hear, Mr. Avneet, coming from a 3-4 decades of journey. The way where it started off with, with the CCRT monitors and televisions, and coming to a huge shift of LCD to LEDs now, and working out with brands like Thomson and Kodak. I'm sure that has been a huge game changer towards past. I would say the major game changer would have been the last 5-6 years, basically. where I would say the rise of all these e-commerce players also played a huge role in terms of diversifying entire retail distribution, because that is something which I believe is one of the most important factor when it comes to the entire when it comes to a segment or a category like consumer electronics. You have to have a huge command over the I would say the retail distribution part. So what were the attributes what were the attributes that was taken care by you when while you were working on brands like Thompson or Kodak? What was the thoughts or what was the reason behind those?
Yeah. So for Kodak, as I told you, equity and nostalgia, that was there. And I think Kodak was one of the most global, most recalled brands in the world. And the best part about this brand was that from a lower middle class to the top line, everybody has used Kodak, either camera or films or anything. So everyone is very much associated. It's a mass brand. It's a luxury premium brand. So everything. So that's the thought was behind that. From 24 inches to 75 inches, we had a market share, and we have a market size to cater to everybody, and that's what happened. So Kodak. So this was the thought. Now, about having said that, if you have a brand, then what are the key attributes that you have to you have to have while launching the brand and while making the brand successful is the back end. I think that has really supported us going with infrastructure. And I'm sure you will ask this question that what are the things that you need to be aware for brand licensing. And I always say that you have to take it slowly.
True.
It is not that you have an idea today that you can experiment tomorrow without having a better infrastructure. You
100%.
need to spend. See, that's a risk that you need to take for a brand licensing. That you need to create a infrastructure in the country. It's a very vast country. If you want to launch a product, so that's what we did. Basics has to be very right. And after that, one more thing that I always emphasize is on services. I get a lot of criticism also when I say on public forum that I'm really pushing hard for service, and some people just start commenting that my TV is not get repaired and this and that. But yes, it is my key focus. We are since in this industry from last 30 years because of service. We That's our key initiative, and currently in more than 18,000 pin codes we are delivering services. So these are key attributes to run the brand. That was the idea behind. If these two basic things were not clear from our side, I would have not launched the brand. So this is one of the things, and same with Thompson. Um, Plus your retailer partner, which is very important nowadays. The kind of trust you have with your retailer partner. What are your your strengths and weaknesses on that particular retail point. So I think that is really important to firstly have a complete go around on that, and then launch your product on that particular site or platform.
Absolutely. Avneet, I believe the way you have taken forward the licensing programs for both the brands, that has been really, I would say, amazing in the past, few years only. Because a lot of licensing programs have actually failed, because as you said, you need to experiment. You don't, sorry, you need to understand first. It's not a short-term thing that you're getting into. It's going to be the next 10, 15 years or 20 years maybe. That's the goal has to be. You have to have a very clear vision in terms of what kind of segments, what kind of price points, what kind of market, what kind of products, what kind of technology, what kind of innovation that you're going to inculcate in the product. What kind of competitors you're going to work with, and how you're going to create the entire paradigm for the products and the segments basically. And that's how, because again, coming to the licensing programs, there have been a lot of successful ventures. Philips is one of our very successful ventures, and they have been doing for the past so many decades actually, and they've been really have been able to cap on it. Okay. Well, there are some of the brands, maybe Videocon, maybe, or some of the brands like those, okay, who have not been able to reach to that juncture, maybe because they were not able to create that right partner, or maybe the right kind of licensing programs that they were looking forward to. Kelvinator, I still remember, there was one of a very strong brand at one point of time, but again, there's still been things there with it.
Yeah,
So
but
moving ahead.
Canon later is now taken by Reliance.
Exactly. So so all these things has to be taken care perfectly. While you're working out any brand, what kind of thoughts, because you have to match the kind of customers' expectation. What kind of customer sentiments are there. How are they going to match their thoughts with Kodak televisions? Actually, they have been seeing actually that the brand has been coming from I would say the films or the roles, basically the camera roles. Okay, and I think everybody of from the Indian market has seen Kodak once in their lifetime. Maybe if
Yeah.
I talk about people coming from 80s, 90s generation. Okay, so that's what actually attaches that part with the product and the consumer actually. Okay, so coming forward, we would also like to understand, Avneet, coming from the background of television manufacturing, and having that entire stuff like infrastructure and everything, what were the core challenges that you might have faced while working out the products, and while working out the pricing, while working out the discounting, while working out the markets? So these are the two three questions, two three things I would like to understand. How you were able to balance, I would say, already existing top premium brands in the retail with Flipkarts and the Samsung and all of that. Okay, and you were able to match those numbers in terms of sales or the price points or the discountings. How you were able to create that balance actually?
Yeah, first I'll come to your question of manufacturing. So that was our core business, and that was our strength of manufacturing. And to be honest, back about 10 years back, and I'll be very honest and candid about it, manufacturing was not a core sector in India, and it was not focused. I would say that. And from Make in India, it was like Trade in India. Any Tom, Dick, and Harry used to come with some television CBU and used to get a container and you start selling with his or with her or his brand name. And that's where government pitch in. That's where people all the big the government and how government has supported in this. Then there was a time where manufacturing started, government started pushing manufacturing, and that was one of our core. In terms of in India also and any other developing nation, I think manufacturing has to be a core segment. Uh, Currently, we our core segment is agriculture, which is just contributing 40% of the population is doing agriculture, and the contribution to GDP is only 12%. So I think that more and more, and we have oversupplies year on year. So we are in a position where we are growing more than what is needed. Those lands, I feel that can be converted into MSMEs or small enterprises, where it can be converted into factories, and there are a lot of opportunities. So that was my behind. I'm just giving you what was my idea since the beginning. Uh, After that, when manufacturing started, so in CRTs also, it was backward integration. What in manufacturing is, what is the value can do. So in LED also, we started doing value addition step by step. Today, yes, the components are not made in India. Everything comes from, all the components come from different parts of the world. But whatever we can assemble, whatever backward integration we can do in terms of boxes, P forms, uh, leads, mainly whatever the smaller speakers, whatever things we can develop, we are developing in India. I feel in next 5 years there will be a lot of component factories which are pushing in. I think the value addition chain will again start will be there in India. So that was the key. We understood that what kind of manufacturing that is possible in India. That's how we were saving our cost. Therefore the affordability part comes in. And then we had terrific partners where our suppliers, which we were working from very long time, I think they have supported us. Uh, Due to that, the pricing that we have given in last so many years, we have been succeeded in doing that. Overhead expenses, I think that is very, very important for any company. My mantra is to give opportunity to young people. So we have more and more young people now joining us in our organization with the great ideas, and we have tried to improve on product in terms of these young lads that we have currently. Uh, then when you have an international brand, the best part is the guidelines that they have. Uh, it's I've heard with I've discussed this with multiple people. Then when there is a brand, when the brands try to tell you to follow the guidelines, or when they have certain brand guidelines, people think that they don't know the Indian markets. But it's vice versa. They know the global market. India is part of that global market. They know what has been. So there is, for brand, there are something which globally does well, and that you have to follow. And that's what we did. We had complete trust, and we started following whatever and the smallest of things, which earlier was, I think, I would admit, it was not missing, but yes, we were not paying that much attention to all those things. That has really worked very well for us. Then coming back to the production cycle, yes, if you're honest to your business, the kind of targets you're achieving, you have a team where you're supporting. I think that year-on-year growth starts showing. And plus, as I told you, two basic things: infrastructure and after-sales service. I think that gives you a lot of word of mouth, and or in any product. And with that, the year-on-year targets, and we started overachieving it. And that's how the journey, started changing for us.
Absolutely. Abhit, I believe, when we talk about a product like televisions or electronics, or, maybe refrigerators or washing machines or air conditioners, they are, are those products which are not going to be bought again and again. I've been seeing, people have been using their television for the past 10 years, for the 10 years maybe. Okay. And when all these attributes that you actually mentioned, after seeing surveys and all those things, is being taken care properly, that actually creates that longevity of the business. That actually creates the longevity of the, the brand also, basically, and that actually helps the brand to, sustain in the longer run. That's how I believe actually that's has been a really an amazing thing that we have to work out. So while we have been talking about the last couple of associations that you have done with Kodak or Thompson TV, what has been the shift that you have been seeing from the past 30 years of journey in terms of the acceptance towards the more licensed products or merchandises? How means have you seen that shift, and how people are actually accepting more because it was very I would say it was very last couple of years when all these brands started coming. Not only this, in fact, a lot of smartphone brands are now coming up with the television segment. Be it Xiaomi, be it OnePlus, they have also started coming up with the television system. So what has been the shift, and how are you seeing that change that is happening, and how are your thoughts is going to be, and how is your vision going to be moving forward with the very recent association with White Testing House also? So how is your uh, uh, I would say understanding is going to be for the next couple of 5 6 years?
Yeah, so the blessing in disguise that has happened this time is the lockdown that has happened due to the pandemic. So whatever we were expecting in next 5 years, we have just witnessed in last 1 year in terms of technology and
True.
how people will react and what will be the future like. Uh, Whatever has happened is it's really stressful. But for television industry, I think it was a game changer. Uh, Everything today is based out of smart TV, and 90% of the market share has converted into smart TVs. And when I say smart TV, it's I will focus on content. How Indian consumers have shifted from a small screen to a bigger screen. Everything they were seeing in their 5 inches or 6 inches screen, and they were really happy doing so. And the content industry, OTT players were doing really well. Last 2 years, there was a big disruption, and the internet connectivity. One of the internet players, with their plans, and there was a big disruption, and internet connectivity across India was available at a very reasonable price. Then after the content industry, had taken over, and in lockdown, when all the local production houses were shut down, they were only OTT platform where new releases were happening. And as an Indian consumer, they need something new. Therefore, and the big releases and movies which never used to get so many screens otherwise were getting a very big platform. So out of this, we the whole scenario changed for content, and therefore our main focus is how we sell our television, and Indian people should get the best of Indian content, whatever they want to watch. There is limited time. How with AI enabled technologies, if a customer has what a certain content on Netflix, what his choices, it will be there on the screen, on your screen. If he is watching a Prime, he has watched certain series related to that, it will be there, and whatever you have watched, it will not be repeated on the screen. So these are the things. The next 5 years is on software. I think hardware is everybody is making the same hardware. What are the changes that you will be doing in the software? What Because of the time foundation that everybody has, now you have a smart TV on in your drawing room, dining room. Now what you can do, what best content you can give, and how much you can engage your customers watching that. So that is the way, that is a very big thing. Plus, I think one more technology every 4 years, 5 years, one technology comes. PC came in, then smartphones. Now time has come for AI, and we have operating system, Android operating system, and one of the biggest game changer for us has been the Google Assistant. uh, just sitting at your relaxing at your couch and asking temperature, and I remember if I'm getting ready with just Assistant, I just ask my television how much time it will take me to go to the airport from my place. So that it's such a quick response you get, and that's how things are changing. So the smart TV is not will not be a bigger screen where you can just watch your entertainment, but you will be connecting your smart homes, and you're doing so. It's not a future technology. With all our smart TVs, you can connect more than 1 lakh smart home devices today. So that is how things are changing. A person is coming back home just with an internet. He can switch on his AC at a given point, and then once he's entered, his room is chilled. and these technologies are not expensive.
Absolutely. I think you have touched a really strong point, Avneet. That's I would say that's the user interface. I would say, or the ease of using a product, and I think that is something which has become quite relevant. If today if somebody is looking out for a smartphone, so what kind of touch and feel is he going to get? What kind of user interface is he going to use it? Okay, what kind of backend software is he going to use it? Okay, so that is what is actually happening, and this is what is actually being going to be a game changer in the coming years. Basically, what kind of AI is he going to be using? What kind of apps, or maybe what kind of new functionalities or features, okay, that is going to be added up, okay, which is again going to give that product a boost actually. Okay. So I would like to have your quick thoughts on our recent association with White Westinghouse. I think very recently Bradford has gone ahead, and we are very happy to share that we have just recently been able to have you on board for White Westinghouse televisions actually. So how have you planned for White Westinghouse? Is it going to be the same lines how Kodak, how the positioning is going to be, or how you are going to take it forward in the retail? So, please.
Yeah, so we have a very old association with Brantford, and it's our honor to be again associated with you guys. And
Same here.
recently, we had the license for appliances, and now televisions. Uh, with the same idea that how we can expand this portfolio. Definitely, the kind of equity that Westinghouse has in India has been phenomenal whenever they have been in India and globally also. So we are really excited and we are really looking forward for this brand. Uh, we have, some of the things that we'll be sharing in coming months. What are the where we'll be launching and what kind of retailer partners we'll be having, and definitely it will be affordable premium brand, and which will have one of the best technologies at a very sweet price point. Uh, so this is the strategy, and whatever in our existing portfolio, whatever is missing, I think you will find in White Westinghouse.
Amazing, amazing.
Westinghouse,
Even
yeah.
same here, Avneet. We are also quite keenly looking forward to have the launches of White Westinghouse televisions in retail and market. Maybe I would be one of the customers also to buy them. That's how Bradford is also looking forward to. And then I think the way the Indian consumer electronics market has seen that boom in last couple of months, even during the pandemic, that has been amazing actually. Uh, Amit, before we have this last couple of points, I would like to have a couple of thoughts and some, your visions basically for upcoming Indian consumer electronics market, and how brand licensing is actually shaping up the entire industry, and in what terms, in what I would say dimensions, I would say, brand licensing has actually helped the brands to grow in a wider area, and how OEMs like you, I would say, it's a commendable thing. I would like to share this. I would like to mention this to you, Amit. The way SPPL or OEMs like you have actually created that versatile extension for the brand in a very successful way. So, would like to have a couple of upcoming opportunities and trends. What you feel and what you see in the Indian market.
See, the trends that I see across portfolios is, as our Prime Minister rightly said, and it's not that people say that you're inclined and you're saying this, but Atmanirbhar, which was and we were Atmanirbhar 30 years back. Also, we were producing everything, and that's been the mantra so far for any country. If you're not Atmanirbhar, there were brands. Why such brands which had existed in India, which were doing really well, and suddenly had to, stop their operations. One of the major reasons were they were not given the equal playing field, and now those brands through licensing can come back to India because that era of not giving a equal playing field is over. Uh, Now the consumer, which was shifted to, I would say I should not take names, but yes, it was inclined a little bit towards Chinese brands because that was, cheap and best. Now our consumer, as an economy was growing, people now started people started shifting towards better quality product at affordable pricing, and that's where these licensees, these brands can hit out in the market, and they can do really well. Uh, and that's how, for any one of us, we need to choose the brand wisely. And if it has a very good equity in the market, definitely you have the infrastructure, you have a chance to grow in Indian market. Plus, as I told you, we are seeing a trend where people are now going for Indian manufacturers. There is a big shift where from those Chinese brand, people have again shifted to American and European brands. One of the reasons were pricing. Now, for television, I can vouch that government has banned CBUs from China, so everybody has to make over here. There are duties that is for everybody. So now come and I would say come and face the music, and then we are at the equal playing field. We'll give right kind of competition. You give right kind of competition to us, uh, and that's how it should be. And from trade in India, it should be make in India. If you don't have a manufacturing facility, you're doing OEM, but yes, you're doing something over here. So that was the whole point, and that's the strength. Uh, and for us, we know the consumer behavior. We are still learning. It's been past 30 years. We have seen the evolution of television industry. Again, we are learning. We know what kind of changes happen. We try to, sometimes we are successful in reaching out. Sometimes we are not successful in reaching out. But yes, it's a very good start for the country, and I think this should go for a very long time. It is the best time for investors to invest in licensee brands in India. There's a huge opportunity. I feel consumers are now shifted. They have understood basically cheap and best do not last for a very long time. Uh, and the best part about licensee is if there is a licensee that's working in US, that's working in London, that's working in Paris, that's working in Milan, that's working in Japan, Tokyo, South Korea. So they know the world fashion. Okay, they know the world fashion. You will have the best. I've seen brand licensing having the best fashion at a very good price. And I think day before yesterday or 4 days back, one of the BRADFORD products were released on Myntra.
It's emoji.
Exclusive lines.
Yeah.
So that's what the Indian market wants, and that's how consumerism started in the West, and that's how consumer for less than $1,000, you're getting something which is wearable across the globe. I think that was not possible 5 years back.
True.
32 inches Android TV. This BBD we were selling at 10,999 with Google Assistant. We would have never imagined with a sound assistant and with 5,000 games and application, a consumer which was buying for 30,000, 20,000, 32 inches, and now is getting for 11,000. So that's the change.
Absolutely, absolutely. India has always been a manufacturing hub, basically, and it has been a manufacturing hub for ages. We talk about any commodity, we talk about any product. India is capable to, bring it everything. It is just that we have never been able to realize how to market it, how to brand it, and how to sell it. easy.
Absolutely.
It was majorly the US, segment or the countries who used to market. When it comes to designing, it was European countries or German countries who used to do that. But yeah, I believe the words or the current revolution which is happening. When we're talking about vocal for local and Atmanirbhar, make in India things. Okay, things have actually gradually. Please,
I'll just add one more thing over here,
please.
that small changes, even the smallest of changes, smallest of designs, make a lot of difference in the market.
100%. 100%.
And you don't realize, and we have seen in last 5 7 years with a person, just joined in, has given such a input that was not there. And this has not happened with us, it has happened multiple times with us. And that particular, because he knows the market. If I'm getting something made out of some other country, I cannot make those changes.
True, true.
So that is very important, and these small things makes a lot of difference.
100%. Absolutely right, Avneet. That's what actually the entire shift is happening, and the way this. I'm very happy to see that a lot of it was earlier. I would say, and I would be very honest and upfront to share that it was earlier. It was all the big corporates, be it Reliance to the people or maybe Madura likes those. Okay, they
Yeah,
were actually the big giants who actually brought this licensing thing in the Indian market, and now it has actually spread over a lot of OEMs to, even a lot of e-commerce players have actually come into and got into licensing, and they have done really, really wonderful, right from selecting the brand, working on their entire extension, working on their entire merchandises, and they have done a really wonderful job. That's where you need to have a very pros and cons of what kind of licensing program that you are getting into, what aspects that you need to take care of, what kind of aspirations that you have to work out, so that is there. That that was really wonderful, Avneet, to have you here today. It was an amazing session that we did. That was completely focused on how the growth of consumer electronics has seen through this brand licensing segment, and how actually SPPL has been able to emerge as one of the pioneers in revolutionizing the entire brand licensing industry while launching televisions in the industry in the market. Coming from Kodak to Townsend and then White Westinghouse, which is again going to be another journey for Mr. Avneet. So that was an amazing session, Mr. Avneet. It was really nice to
so
have you
much.
today. So thank you so much. Thank you, friends. We look forward to have you again tomorrow, next week. That's 11 o'clock in the morning, next Thursday. See you again. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.